morning, good evening, and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is nikymus, and I welcome you to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If it's your first time here, I invite you to join us. Like the page, share with the friends, subscribe. And for those that have always been with me, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. Now, you might have noticed the videos are not coming in as they should. It's just because the kids are in the holidays. So when I can, I spend more time with my daughter. But still, I do my best to bring out a video when I can. So, happy Sunday, first of all. I hope you all woke up well, and I hope everything goes as planned. I would like to talk about living the narcissist. So for the most of you, I've seen so many of you on my channel. In the comments, the people I've talked with, and even some of my friends, I've seen you preparing, because there's most of you who are still involved with these individuals. So somewhere you're planning, you're plotting, you're preparing to leave the narcissist. So I want to discuss some of the few things you might expect, some of the few things you will see. And on top of that, if I miss out some things, there's one of you who have left a narcissist and I miss out something on these things I'm going to talk about, I would request you to let it be known in the comment section below, so that it can benefit those individuals who are planning and plotting to leave the narcissist. Even before I start again, I would like to make it clear, like I've always done it in my videos. It is always important, guys, you have got to leave the narcissist quietly. You do not create some kind of a fracas, a chaos or whatever when you're leaving these individuals. So you always have to make sure that you leave these individuals quietly. So what do I mean by quietly? You catch them by surprise. So they may have gone to work, or they may have gone to their job place or whatever, or on a holiday. If you have already made your plans, your exit plans, that is the best time for you to leave. Because when you intend to leave these individuals and you show them that you want to leave, it is going to be very, very, very difficult for you. It is going to almost be impossible for you to leave them, because they know if you leave them at the end of the day, it is not about you as an individual, but it is about the supply that you have always been offering them. So they will do everything to manipulate your plans to leave them. It is going to be very difficult. So always remember, you have got to leave very, very quietly as you can. Do not make noise, don't make chaos. For those of you who have already seen my video, how I left the narcissist, I did not create any chaos. Even the narcissist did not know that I had even figured out. So I went out quietly, and that's what I wanted to say. One of the things you're going to see, number one, because they don't expect you to leave. Number one, that's what you need to understand. You are their supply. So if you finally decide to leave them, whether you have left them quietly or whether you guys are even having a fight, at the end of the day, it is going to turn out into rage. You're going to expect rage. The narcissist is going to rage as much, as hard as they can, as long as they can, as much as they can. So you're going to expect them to rage. You're going to expect them to say all sorts of words. They are going to call you names. They are going to shout at you. And in most cases, even the reason why we have always advised people to leave these individuals quietly, that is because you just don't know what is going to happen. You don't know what to expect with them, especially if you're dealing with this kind of individuals who are even violent, like physically violent. So you do not know what to expect. That's why it is always important to leave them quietly and just disappear to an unknown destination. The number one thing you're going to see is rage. They are going to be very furious about that, because they do not expect you. They never expected you. They don't even want you to leave them in the first place. So you have got to expect them to rage. They are going to rage furiously. They are going to tell you so many different kinds of words. If you're close to them, if you're in their proximity, you may even sometimes be hurt. I have to say this, I have to put it out there, although it has rarely happened. But if you're dealing with this kind of individuals, or even psychopaths, they may even end up hurting you physically. That is the first thing you're going to see, is rage. Number two, you're going to experience a very, very massive smear campaign. Now, by smear campaign, what I mean is, because these individuals, they expect that they are the ones standing on the what do they call it? They will carry out a massive smear campaign, because they want to make it as hard as it is for you out of their lives. So what are they going to do? They are going to go to your family members. They will smear your name. They are going to go to your friends. They will smear your name. They are going to even smear your name in your workplace, because you have to understand that the narcissists, they do not want to carry the guilt with them. They don't want to be guilty. Because at the end of the day, people are going to start pointing fingers at them that they have done something wrong. So they have got to be ahead of the game. It does not matter if you're the one who has discarded them first. They are going to run ahead of you and go to your family members. So that's when you're going to see your family members standing against you. They're going to say, oh, you know, you did this and that. Somebody told us you did this and that. Even the things you have not done. So if you hear a smear campaign, and I think a smear campaign as well hurts most of the, like me, for example, I experienced a lot of smear campaigns within my friend circles. So all of a sudden my friends started cutting the connections with me or whatever, and I noticed that actually they had already picked up different things about me, even sometimes things that I did not know about, even things that I've not done. So if you experience that kind of thing whereby you see people turning against you, your family now is not talking to you, your mothers are looking at you in some kind of a way, you have got to understand that the narcissist, they have already moved ahead of time and they have smeared your name all over the place. But as well, I just want to guarantee you that do not let that affect you. Don't let it sink in with you, because the problem is not you as an individual. The problem is the guys you've left behind. They are very toxic. So that is one of the things they are going to do to make life very difficult for you should you leave them and continue with your life. So that's the second thing you're going to experience when you leave a narcissist, when you discard a narcissist. The third one you're going to experience is, actually it should even be the first one. Number one, you're going to give them a narcissistic injury. Now, let me explain more. When you leave a narcissist, remember, these individuals, they believe you are their property. It is like you moving around with your wallet. Whatever it is, your belongings that belong to you, your own property. The narcissist belongs, thinks and believes that people actually belong to them. Those individuals that those individuals are with them at that moment. They always believe you are their property. They do not believe you belong to anybody else. So the very first thing you do and you leave those individuals, the narcissists, they are going to experience a very, very hard narcissistic injury, especially if you have caught them by surprise. You could even send those narcissists to what do they call it? You could even send them to the hospital. They could become sick. They could get a very, very deep injury, because like I've said, guys, I've always said in my videos, you do not want to experience a narcissistic injury. You don't want to see it, because if you have left those individuals for by surprise and you go back, or even sometimes you see them somewhere like after 1 or 2, 3 weeks without you, you have got to remember they are seriously suffering. It is not about the pain we feel when we've separated with a loved one or something. So for them it's different. They get an injury. They don't feel pain, but they get an injury, a very, very deep injury for that matter. And the narcissists, they're always very scared about that injury, because even sometimes the injury, it can send them it can cause them health issues. They can even end up in hospital. You know what I mean? So it can hurt them in different kinds of ways. You may see them manifesting in different ways. All of a sudden they will lose breath. All of a sudden you will see them becoming older. All of a sudden you will see their skin all of a sudden changing into something else. So the narcissistic injury usually looks very, very bad. You're going to see them actually sometimes they cannot get out of bed, they cannot walk, they cannot speak, they cannot even... So because you have definitely showed them that they are not worth anything. By you leaving them, you are showing them that they are not worth anything. So you already give a major blow to their self-esteem, which already they don't have in the first place. So you make it even worse by leaving them. So you cause them a very, very deep narcissistic injury. That one you should be aware of it. And sometimes when a narcissist has been injured, anything is possible, which comes back to the basic reason why I've told you should always leave them quietly, go as far as you can, stay away as long as you can, and make sure you do not let your destination known to them, so they shouldn't even know where you've gone. The other thing you're going to experience is because you have actually caused them a very huge injury. That is on top of the injury. You've caused them a very huge injury. So one of the things you're going to experience is all of a sudden you're going to see them trying to hover you. Some of those cases, because they want to hover you. Now, let me explain this. They are hovering you back, number one, because they want to bring you back in and punish you. You have got to be punished. Let me repeat this. When you have left a narcissist, let me tell you that when they get a chance to hover you, if they ever hover you in the first place, they are going to love bomb you for a few days, and they are going to start punishing you in the first place, because for them they believe that you shouldn't have left them in the first place. You are not supposed to leave them. So when you leave them and they try to hover you back, they are going to punish you. So you are going to see a lot of hovers coming in. They will send messages, oh, you know, you shouldn't have gone, you should come back, you know, this and that. It does not matter, even if they have been beating you for a whole year, beating you up, battering you up. they still believe that you should be with them, and you should stand there and wait for their BS to finish, which BS will never finish in the first place. So they are going to do everything in their power to make sure that they hover you. They may send relatives, they may send their friends, they may send you messages, they may do whatever, which is even the reason why most of the times the coaches, they have always told you, when you leave a narcissist, you always have to go no contact. Block their numbers, because if you don't block their numbers, you might end up falling for a hover, and you never know how the hover is going to come and when it's going to come. So you should expect a hover when you have left a narcissist. Another thing what is going to happen, which is the fourth one, if the hover fails, they are going to run into panic mode. I've always mentioned it. I mentioned the panic mode in my videos. You have already heard that. So what is going to happen is that they are going to go into panic. And number one, and second issue, you have got to remember that narcissists do not expect to be alone. They cannot handle being alone. It's not like we the empaths. We even sometimes enjoy time by ourselves, just being by ourselves. But the narcissists, they cannot do that. So basically, what you're going to see them scrambling for supply. That is when you're going to see them now running to the dating sites, if they haven't done that already, because sometimes, like I said, even during the time you're with them, they're already on the dating sites scrambling for supply. But if they haven't done that yet, you're going to see them running to the dating sites. You're going to see them spending a lot of times in the club, because they have got to find a replacement. So which is the fifth one, they are going to try very hard to find a replacement as soon as they can. They will be hovering you, but at the same time, they're trying to find somebody to replace you in that time, because a narcissist cannot face to look themselves in the mirror. They cannot look at themselves in the mirror. They cannot stay alone. For whichever reason, they cannot handle being alone and looking at themselves and looking at their own demons. So they are going to scramble for supply. You will see them online. You will see them in the city. You will see them in the clubs. They will do whatever it takes to look for supply, and it has got to happen ASAP. So if it happens, the quicker it happens, the better for them, because then they can fill up that void that you've left for them. They can fill up that void with somebody else. So if you see them after some time, like a week or two, maybe they've already met somebody new, you shouldn't be surprised. That is how they operate. They are supposed to find a replacement, because they cannot face to look at themselves in the mirror. They cannot face to look at their own demons. Then the last one, they are going to team up. They are going to team up with one of the things you might as well see if you've discarded them. Now this one is very serious, guys. I want you to listen very closely. If you have discarded them, one of the things that might happen, they are going to team up with other people. Now, if you have been in a workplace and you leave those individuals, maybe those guys were your bosses or your supervisors or whatever. So now you're going to see other members teaming up with them, because number one, they have already smeared your name. So what the smear campaign does, it now starts to get people on their side. You know what I mean? Because they have got to stay as clean as they can in front of other people. So they are going to team up with other people, and they start to gang up on you. After the smear campaign, the next thing you're going to see, people that are going to start ganging up on you. I've seen that happen in my own situation. I've seen people ganging up on me. You know, why have you done this? Why should you do that? So now all of a sudden, people, they're standing with the narcissist. And you will never see it coming, because all of a sudden you're going to see the people who are on your side before. People who are on your side before, all of a sudden they're going to start sending you bad messages. They're going to start ganging up on you. Each and everybody in your circle, the person that has met the narcissist that has spoken to the circle and the team around you, they are going to come as a collective, and they start throwing everything at you, insults at you. They are going to gang up on you. I call it ganging up on you because all of a sudden they're not on your side. They are standing on the narcissist side, and they're going to gang up on you. So they are going to insult you in some kind of a way. You're going to see them actually even sometimes trying to avoid you. They are going to come and attack you. Even sometimes they might. It could be a verbal attack, or it could be a physical attack. So, like I've said, you always have to be ready for everything. You have got to expect a lot of things what happen when you leave these individuals. So those are the 5 things that will happen when you leave a narcissist. You're going to see rage. Just to sum it up all, you're going to see them. They're going to rage. Number 2, you're going to cause them a narcissistic injury. Number 3, they're going to go on a very massive smear campaign against you. Number 4, they are going to try to hover you if they can. And number 5, they are going to replace you with somebody new as soon as they can. And number 6, they are going to get up other people to gang up on you should they get the chance to do that. So again, we come back to the same thing. You have got to remember, guys, like I've always said, you leave those individuals, you go no contact. So what do I mean going no contact? No contact, you block their phone numbers, you remove them from your phones, you remove their pictures, you fly off to or drive off or whatever. You can even walk off to an unknown destination, a destination that they do not know, them and their flying monkeys do not know. and you stay as quiet as you can. Do not contact them, because if you decide to contact them, those are some of the 6 things I've mentioned that are going to happen in that scenario. So that being said, guys, if there's something I've not mentioned in this video, I would like to let it be known in the comment section below. Let it be known what has been your experience, and let's share together. So that being said, guys, it's been a lovely day to have you guys on board. Thanks for listening in. I'll catch you soon. Much love and blessings. Desmond signing out.